Hi everyone, and welcome back. Do you ever wonder what those brown spots on the giraffe are? No, not these big ones, but these little ones. The tiny little specks behind the ears, around the neck and hips. They aren't part of the giraffe. In fact, they're ticks. Here's a question for you. Do ticks jump or fly onto their host? Drop your answer below in the comments, and I'll answer later on in this video. Ticks love to cozy up in areas that have a thinner skin, making it easier for them to grip and drink blood. They also like areas that are warmer, moist, and more shaded, like behind the ears. And bonus, it makes it harder for the giraffe to reach and groom these areas. Luckily, even though they might not be able to reach the area, giraffes have a relationship with red and yellow-billed oxpeckers. This relationship is called a symbiotic relationship, which is a long-term interaction between two different biological species where at least one partner benefits. In this case, the oxpecker is benefiting by getting food, and the giraffe may be benefiting by having the ticks removed, but there is a downside to this, and I'll get into that later. There can be up to 7,000 ticks on a giraffe at a time, and they are always changing their life cycle. This means ticks aren't staying on the giraffe for its entire life, but constantly falling off to enter a new cycle of its life and then reattaching to a new giraffe or animal. So, what is the life cycle of a tick? Well, the egg begins on the ground. And if you've made it this far into the video, here's the answer to our question. Do ticks jump or fly onto its victim? It's neither. They cling on. When it hatches into larvae, it climbs onto low vegetation and waits to cling onto a passing giraffe. This is called questing. Once comfortable on the giraffe, it has its first blood meal, drops off, and molts into a nymph. This is where the six-legged larvae will shed its outer skin and grow into the eight-legged nymph. And again, the nymph will hang on to vegetation until an animal passes by so it can attach itself, feed again, drop off again, and molt into an adult. Adult ticks will feed on a giraffe and then drop off and lay her eggs on the ground. And that is the life cycle of a tick. There are diseases that these ticks can unfortunately give to giraffes, but I want to talk about something else. Something that the oxpeckers may be spreading to the giraffes. Well, they should be helping the giraffe because they're eating the ticks off of it. Unfortunately, they may be spreading Bovine papillomavirus, also known as BPV. This is because the ticks may be burrowing themselves in the giraffe to get its blood and initially opening some wounds. And while the birds land on the giraffe eating away at the tick, they often will either pick at those wounds that might be there or start to pick at other wounds on the giraffe, which is spreading the disease that they may be carrying. This disease is rarely fatal on giraffes, but it causes intense discomfort. They get these big lumps and wart-like features on their skin, and it's extremely itchy. So then the giraffe will scratch itself on a tree and it'll just break the skin further, reopen these wounds, and cause more discomfort. Now, while I was in Kruger, I do think I seen a giraffe with these lumps on it. And at the time, I didn't exactly know what it was. I felt saddened by it and I felt bad for the giraffe, so I didn't take any videos or pictures as I wanted to respect this giraffe. But here is a photo, it's not mine, of a giraffe with the symptoms of BPV so you can see how bad this virus is for an animal. And while there is no specific treatment or cure for BPV in wild giraffes, it can regress on its own and allow the animal to recover completely without intervention. So there you have it. These tiny bumps are not part of the giraffe. They're ticks. And oxpeckers love to eat these ticks. But while it seems to help the giraffe in that sense, it isn't always beneficial if the bird is spreading BPV. This is nature at its core. And sometimes it's hard to watch an animal in discomfort. But with caring people like you and I, we can learn how to support wildlife in ways that are in our control and help protect their environment and keeping them wild and free. So thanks for tuning in, and see you in the next episode.